What's going on with Flower Beauty? I'm Laura Ray, and I've made it no secret that I've bought more Flower Beauty makeup than probably any makeup I've ever owned. I love Flower Beauty. I've loved so many of the products since she came out with the brand. When I first went to Walmart and picked up products. So, what I read recently on Reddit is that Drew is doing a lot of changes with Flower Beauty. Right now, if you go to the site, you can't buy anything. It says coming back better than ever in 2023. So if you're like me and you love so many of the products she's already created, now's the time to buy them before they're gone. They're on Amazon, they're on Ulta Beauty. I'll have all the links in the description below, but I wanted to share with you some of my all-time favorites. I feel one of Drew's best products is this one, the Scribble Sticks. I also think they're so underrated. This one is the shade Tickle Me Pink. It is a great dupe for Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk. This Flower Beauty Scribble Stick is about half the price of the Charlotte Tilbury lip liner. What I love about it is wider, so you can go over your full lip much easier, while with the lip liner, you get a thinner line. Both are long lasting. You can use this as a lip liner, lipstick, blush, and even an eyeshadow. It came in so many shades, but this was one of my favorites of all time. I've repurchased it. My daughter loves it and wears it all the time. But it's just that natural nudie pink that we've all loved over the past few years. And having it all in one stick that you can use, and it's so multi-purpose, is amazing. One product that won my heart right away was this Gel Crush. It's in the shade Blackberry Crush. This reminded me when I first tried it of Clinique Black Honey, that brownie sort of pink that was in the 90s. And this can be used on your lips. It feels like a lip balm on the lips, but works beautifully on the cheeks. Even though it's a blackberry, a deeper shade, it's so sheer that it works great on mature skin. I would normally not like this shade in something that's heavily pigmented, but because it is sheer, I can have that tone that I'm looking for, yet it looks great on my mature skin. Another product of Drew's I didn't hear a lot about that I think is so amazing are these Chrome Crushes. These are beautiful toppers. You could wear them alone for eyeshadow, but what I've done is I've used one of her older palettes that I still think is amazing called Gimme Gold. There's so many options with this. This is great if you were one of those people that always wanted like the naked palettes. She came out with a series of these, the smoky. I had them all at one point, but this one I would say is the most versatile. And this shade in particular is a matte shade that works perfect with these Chrome Crushes. Now, I was instantly attracted to this because it's sort of a periwinkle shade, which is really hard to find at the drugstore. So I find that Drew, with her shadows, tries to pick shades that are high end, that people like, but offers them at a very affordable price. Drew came out with one of my favorite brow pencils. This has a little bit of creaminess to it. It blends beautifully, and it has a little flat brush for blending right on it. I don't have to reach for any separate tool, and this does a great job. Now I have two shades. This one's medium brown, and I like to use that on the tail of my brow to make it a little more defined. And then this one here is Taupe. And not every brand offers a taupe, and I feel taupe works great with my brows. My shade is a little off. It's not really light brown, it's not really blonde. Somewhere in there is my brow shade, and this taupe works great. Another thing that I wanted to mention is Drew has some very affordable makeup brushes that work beautifully. This is a double-ended brush for eyeshadow. You have one that is more for blending on this end and more for packing it on this end. I find that this goes right in my crease really nicely. Now, if you have a small lid space, I would say this brush would be too big, but I've even used it for highlighter. And speaking of highlighter, several years ago, Drew came out with this one that's still on, probably on Amazon, but definitely on the Ulta site. And the three shades at one point I saw all over the internet, these were comparable with MAC shades. So you have a gold, a pink, and then a champagne all in one palette. So I'm going to show you with this brush. I'm just going to put on a little of the champagne, but right on the cheek like that. So sometimes I find that these eyeshadow brushes just work great for highlighter. Flower Beauty was way ahead of their time. They were one of the first at the drugstore to come out with a cream blush in a tube. And these are amazing. They're called Blush Bomb, and they are the bomb. These are one of the best that I've tried. The formula is not super thin, but not super thick either. She seemed to hit it right in the middle. They're very long lasting. You just use a drop or two. And she came out with great shades that I feel are very wearable for mature skin. This one in particular is a repurchase for me, and it's pinched. This, I think, was compared at one time also for a dupe. She's come out with so many things that line right up with high-end makeup. That's one of the reasons I love this line. I get such a luxurious feel from many of her products that even beat high-end. I've used this bronzer so much, the lid has come off of it, but I really want to say that most of Drew's packaging, I feel, is really great. I think every makeup brand sometimes has trouble with these plastic lids on them, but this I found I liked better than Hourglass. This is my favorite bronzer that she's come out with. This shade is Sunrise L1. This is made more for lighter skin. I feel I don't have to be super careful with this. One of my favorite things to do is dip into this and go under the brow. That makes my eyeshadow I'm using look more blended. If you leave that if there's too much contrast between the shadow and this area under the brow, it can look like the makeup look isn't finished. So I like to tap the eyeshadow brush in and just go lightly a little bit with the bronzer. I've even used this as an eyeshadow, but I have used this so much, it looks like I haven't made a dent. That's another thing I find that Drew's products, I would say minus the eye pencil because that is creamier, you'll go through that faster, but the rest of her products seem to last so long. You get a lot of product for the money. I've gushed about this product so much because she was one of the first to, if not the first, at the drugstore to come out with like a glaze for a highlighter. This works so beautifully for mature skin. You can just get that lit from within look and not look like you're wearing so much highlighter. Now, I like to put this on even on a no makeup day just to add some luminosity to the skin. Or if you really want just that barely seen highlighter, put this on before you put your foundation on. If you love liquid liner, this one is a stunner. This shade is called Starry, so it has that metallic to it. It's a beautiful blue. I love using this to make the whites of my eyes pop. The tip here is felt tip, and it's sort of the old-fashioned dip into this kind of deal, but I really like the way it looks on my eyes. It's a very unique shade that's difficult to find at the drugstore. Last but not least, a product that I've used so much more than about anything this year is setting spray. I never used to use setting spray. When I started mixing it with my foundation, it was a game changer for me. At the top of the list for one of my absolute favorites is the Flower Beauty setting spray. This is a great replacement for some of the high-end that add luminosity to the skin. I don't like to spray it so much directly on my face. Either I spray it into foundation or I just take it and spray it right on my Stands Out sponge like this and then go to the areas where I need it. This way I have so much more control about where the setting spray goes. Let me know your favorite Flower Beauty product. If you've never tried anything, now is the time. I'm so concerned some of these products may disappear and they're favorites, so I will be buying backups. Also, the Petal Pout lipstick has always been a favorite of mine. There's already shades disappearing off the internet, so I say the Petal Pout is another one. I wore Flower Beauty Foundation, the Light Illusion, for at least a couple of years straight. I loved it so much. I'm out of it right now, so that's why I didn't talk about it. but that definitely has been a drugstore foundation that I've worn longer than many I've tried. So there are so many great Flower Beauty products. Again, all the links are beneath the video. Thank you for shopping those links and supporting my channel. I love you all so much. Remember, you'll see me on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 9 a.m. and have a blessed and beautiful week.